Right. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam mudinaya nashtaprayeshu bhadreshu nityam bhagavati sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtike om jnanaatimirandhasya jnananjana चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवंश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथं सजीवम् साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवम् श्रीराधा कृष्णदा सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधा कान्त नमस्ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासरि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाभिते प्रभुपादपुत्राय श्रीगिरिराजाय स्वामिनः सुभक्तावरारास्मि हरिभिः नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाभिते श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादिकाश्रयं मुखं करोति वाचालं कौमुदीं गायते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुदीनतारिणम् Hare Krishna. This computer things keep on popping up. Oh God. So we've completed chapter 16, divine and demoniac natures. And we completed with these last two verses, 23 and 24. 23, 24. So let's do fast revision this last section from 21. So if you want to go to, then you should know what's the path. The path to hell is given here. Gates leading to hell. How Krishna call it? Dwaram. My God. Dwaram. Dwaram meaning that it's a hole. Dwaram is a hole. You enter into the hole, right? And what's inside the hole, that's already been described. The demoniac species, right? So that's how we enter the womb of the mother, to the gates of the body, right? We are pushed into a womb with some gate, right? So this womb that we are acquiring, is it an animal womb? Is it a what type of womb is it? Aram is very important. Let's see, hole. There are 3 gates leading to this hell. meaning when you enter this animal species, this hell. So it is, oh Hari Bol Ashwini. So it is lust, anger, and greed. Lust. Lust meaning self-satisfaction. You want everything for yourself, right? Own satisfaction.
Mataji, which chapter? Which verse? Which verse? 16th chapter.
We actually 16. We are going to come to 17, but we are just pulling from the last few verses, which will lead next chapter 17. So I'm just looking at 21. Yeah, so this lust, meaning own satisfaction, and you delete, drop out the rest of the world for your own satisfaction. Lust. This horrible desire for enjoyment. When you're not able to give something up because you're so attached to your sense enjoyment. See, the thing is that everybody, I think we read somewhere, I don't remember, most only chapter 2. Everybody is covered by different degrees of this lust. I think example is given like the embryo is covered by the womb, fire is covered by smoke, something covered by dust, right? Mirror covered by dust. So meaning that different people, depending on their gunas, are covered to different degrees by this lust. And this lust will lead to anger and greed. So how do you know that there is lust in your heart? It's because when the opportunity to acquire more comes to you, you will catch it. And if you don't get, you become angry. So, yeah, it's good to catch ourselves, in these three, when they're occurring in our mind. And meaning that we say then we discard it. Discarding meaning that we take measures not to nourish and cultivate this lust, anger, and greed. The man who has escaped these three gates to hell, etir vimukta konteya, vimukta meaning who has become free. Tamadware, tribhir, naraha. The man, naraha means the man. So, etir vimukta konteya, tamadware, tribhir, naraha. The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kunti, performs. So what does he do? Acharati, how does he conduct himself? Acharan, acharati. What does he do? Conduct him, acharati, perform. Atmanaha. So he works for self-realization. He works for the benediction of his own self. Acharatyatmanaha shreyas. So he looks at the higher gain. So this working for the higher gain is education. So if somebody, see, everybody is born with their own level of advancement. That becomes more clear in chapter 7. Their own awakening, how far they are awakened. So, for somebody to perform acts conducive to self-realization and work for his own benefit, here Prabhupada translates as benediction. He works for the benefit of the soul. So that requires training. I think we read somewhere, fourth canto, I guess. Don't remember, somewhere. that these senses, the mind, if you allow a person to just work according to the dictates of his mind and senses, then he follows them. So therefore, as soon as a child is born in human society, wherever there is some civilization, there are schools, right? Parents send their children to school. Either it is homeschooling or outside schooling, but school has to be there because you need education. What is that education? Is achar. Your proper behavior for your ultimate good, to make your life become benedicted. Yeah. So, Shreyas, Acharati Atmanaha Shreyas. Tato yati param gatim. Thus gradually attain the supreme destination. So, we want to allow ourselves to be taught, right? We have to allow ourselves to be taught how to walk on the path of self-realization. And gradually here, Krishna is saying, Tato yati param gatim. And thus gradually thereafter, tataha thereafter, gradually attains the supreme destination. So there is a method. Nothing happens automatically. When a child is born, everybody who has children know what they are. They're just like animals, right? What do they do? What do they do? They touch everything, they tear everything apart, right? Unless the child is very advanced from previous birth, then they're very possessive. They don't like to share, right? My toy, right? Yeah, anyway. So different seeds are born, right? Therefore, according to the Vedic system, there are instituted the 4 orders of life and the 4 statuses of life, or the caste system and the spiritual order system. There are different rules and regulations for different castes or divisions of society. And if a person is able to follow them, he will be automatically raised to the highest platform of spiritual realization. Then he can have liberation without a doubt. So here comes the point of rules. This is something that people don't like. Rules. So here Krishna is being very categorical about it. Yah Shastra Vidhim Uchrijya Prate Kamakarataha Nasa Siddhim Avapnoti Na Param Gatim. Just try something. There's so much sound over here. What is it for? To put a mic in here. Oh, I'm going to put a mic. Oh, no, it has an inbuilt mic. I'll put another mic. So much noise outside. You're able to hear me?
Yes, a little low,
Very
but
clearly,
yeah,
quite clearly, ma'am, Mataji, very
Yeah.
clearly. We can't hear any noise around you.
Okay, yeah, because it's like I'm competing with the sound outside. The rain and the fun, and then the security, guiding the people.
Whistling, yeah. Janmashtami is coming. Sound of Janmashtami.
It's just a daily temple, crowd. All right, so text 23. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Shastra Vidhi, meaning that I don't know, you don't know. And in case I start doing my way and then I tell you have to follow my way, what will happen? Tell me what will happen?
Chaos.
Then fine. Why should I follow your way? You should follow my way, right? Everybody will come and follow my way, right? So therefore, there has to be one deciding authority, and this is Shastra. Shastra Vidhim. So Krishna is saying, yeah, Shastra Vidhim Utshrijya. Now, I'm not going to get into the whole discussion about Shastra, because we have already discussed this topic about Shastra in depth. I'm not going to speak about Shastra, whether Shastra is bona fide. Should we follow Shastra? Who is that Shastra? What is this Shastra? I would recommend you look for it. There are classes conducted on why we should follow Shastra. From where they are coming, Shastra Praman. I did take one course in Shastra Praman, which very systematically explains about Shastra. So, the next one. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. So every gradual, okay, it's not that, okay, copy the pill and everything like magic pill, right? No. It's arduous, very arduous, you know? So, one should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. So, these rules, there is Shastra Vidhi, they don't fail. But you need to know what applies and what doesn't apply. Right? So therefore, you need a spiritual master. You need a guide. And here Prabhupada is giving the guide book, this Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. These are the guidebook for each and every one of us. We need not be in confusion anymore. What is to be done and what is not to be done. Because in the purpose, Prabhupada has given very clearly what is to be done and what is not to be done. And then he set up centers, which later became huge temples, with one aim only to show the public, you and me, how to execute these rules and regulations. Right? Do we agree with this? Are you able to shift your vision of the temple and understand what Prabhupada is doing? So he's giving the book, all right? Here's the book. Here's the book, right? But then he took groups of people and he made them practice, right? He made them practice what is given in Bhagavad Gita. And then so many years later, it moved into every household, right? It became what we call the congregation today. So we have to tussle a little bit with the congregation because they resist, right? But in the temples, everything is like a practice. It's like it's a model. The temple is a model of how to practice this. And once, if somebody by good luck enters the temple ashram, 5 years, if they stay for 5 years, then it becomes habit. Their life becomes habit. And they're able to continue, provided they don't mess it up. All right, so now let's start text chapter 17. Arjuna uvacha ye shastra vidhim utshrijya yajante shradhayanvitaha yesham nishtha Krishna sattvam ahorajastam. Okay, Shikara, read.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Arjuna inquired, O Krishna, what is the situation of those who do not follow the principles of scripture but worship according to their own imagination? Are they in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance? Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. In the 4th chapter, 39th verse, it is said that a person faithful to a particular type of worship gradually becomes elevated to the stage of knowledge and attains the highest perfectional stage of peace and prosperity. In the 16th chapter, it is concluded that one who does not follow the principles laid down in the scriptures is called an asura, demon, and one who follows the scriptural injunctions faithfully is called a deva or demigod. Now, if one with faith follows some rules which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunctions, what is his position? This doubt of Arjun's is to be cleared by Krishna. Are those who create some sort of God by selecting a human being and placing their faith in him, worshipping in goodness, passion, or ignorance? Do such persons attain the perfectional stage of life? Is it possible for them to be situated in real knowledge and elevate themselves to the highest perfectional stage? Do those who do not follow the rules and regulations of the scriptures but who have faith in something and worship gods and demigods and men attain success in their effort? Arjuna is putting these questions to Krishna. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
So this is super important, right? And that's exactly what we were discussing before. No, that, all right, I say this is the way to do it. You say this, the way your neighbor said, and your auntie said, and your great grandmother says, you know, so you put everybody's idea. So actually, how is supposed to be done? So Arjuna says, Shastra Vidhi Uchrijya. All right? What Krishna said in chapter 16, verse 22. Ya Shastra Uchrijya Vartate Kama Karana. Now Arjuna is saying, Ye Shastra Vidhim Uchrijya. So meaning they give up the Shastra Vidhi. And what do they do? Yajante Shraddha Yanvita. Let me do it according to my own faith. You're familiar with this? I will do it according to my own heart, my own faith. जैसे मन लगता है वैसे ही करेंगे, right? That's what they say. Man, heart, my shraddha, right? Plenty of people say like this. So Arjuna is addressing this question. So what are these people? What are these people? Tesham nishtha Tuka Krishna. So they do it according to their own imagination. What is their situation? Are they in Sattvam, Rajas, or Tamaha? In which guna are they? What are they? So now Prabhupada quotes, can we just go to chapter 4 and 39? 4:13. I've forgotten Krishna said. Oh, okay. Shradhaval labhate jnanam tat parah samyatendriyah jnanam labdhva param shantim achiray nadhikachati. This is very famous actually. A faithful man who is dedicated to transcendental knowledge and who subdues his senses is eligible to achieve such knowledge, and having achieved it, quickly attain the supreme spiritual peace. So Prabhupada is quoting this. So this is what chapter 4 is saying, 39. Now, in chapter 6, he is saying that if you don't follow the rules and regulations, what are you? Asur. Asur. And who is a Sura? Here. Shikala. Who is a Sura?
Who follows the rules and regulations
Right.
of
So
Shastra.
anybody who is following the rules and regulations of Shastra, who's obedient to Lord Vishnu, is a Sura. And who is disobedient, who just throws it away, oh, ye sab bekar hai. This is what they talk, right? The children themselves, they speak like this. Why are you wasting your time? If somebody comes to do seva, why are you wasting your time? I heard with my own ears, unfortunate ears. You know where I heard this? This in the holy Dham of Vrindavan, in the temple, Krishna Balaram temple. I was walking out and I overheard one lady speaking to the others. I don't know whether it's her daughter-in-law, or whatever. Say, why do we time barbad kar rahe hai yahan? This is how they speak. They in Haridham, in Vrindavan, in Krishna Balaram temple, I say, oh my God, I thought only Suras came to, Krishna Balaram temple. I didn't know that some Asuri has been pulled in. Maybe by her Sura family member, they pull her in. So much crowd, so much, whatever. Hey, why are you doing time barbad? My God, they were not mesmerized by the beauty of Radhesham, by Krishna Balaram. I don't believe anybody thought they're doing time barbad. Asura. Natural injunctions, faithfully is called a deva or demigod. Now, if one with faith follows some rules which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunctions, what is his position? Like maybe I mentioned the other day that, my helper, I guess she's very excited, seeing all of us being in this environment and Savan Mass or whatever. So she said, I need to go on Yatra. So I said, it's Janmashtami. There's so much service here. And you're leaving me. But you know how it is. When you put something in their mind, this is what they want, what they will do. So she left for 10 days. Right? And I was struggling in my way, own way. So she came. And when I saw her, she was all shrunk. Then I said, how will you do my work now? I have to give you holiday to recuperate. So what has happened? I think 10 days she went away. 10 days she didn't eat. Right? 10 days she didn't eat. She only had treats. 5 days she walked. I don't know which Baba she went to see in Bihar. So I asked her, you are already doing seva in Rararas Bihari temple. Are you not happy here? Right? Janmashtami is coming, right? You are going to do anyway little bit of tapasya. One day only you are going to fast till midnight, right? And after that, there's going to be so much prasadam. So which is better? All right. She told me last time, I'm not going again. So, if one with faith, she was so much faith, no, she has to go. I don't know who she went to see, which Baba she went to see in Bihar. So, if one with faith follows some rules which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunctions, what is his position? Why I'm speaking of this? Because this is something that happened right in front of me, right? Experience. And there was no way I could convince this lady that it's yes, you're dharmic, everything. There was no way I could convince her that it was not worthwhile. So she had to go through the whole thing and say, I know. Right? And I'm sure, like her, there were many others. Many others. I don't know where we read this. Is it in Chaitanya Charitamrita? Where Prabhupada said that the people of India are so pious that even false incarnation will come, still they will go running after him. Right? Yeah, so many things Prabhupada said. So here I'm giving you an example. Just a 1-day-old example. So do such persons, or those who create some sort of God by selecting a human being and placing their faith in him, worshipping in goodness, passion, or ignorance. I don't know who's that Baba. Who's that human being? What is he? What was it all about? Is he medium to Krishna, or was he himself the Krishna? I have no idea. Right? But people put their faith in him. And because of that faith, they undergo so much austerity. It's not a joke. Isn't it? Target. Good method. Wrong target. You know, sorry, just Indradyumna Swami, somehow I just saw his video going to Kailash. So when this lady was telling me about her experience, so Indradyumna Swami, I guess he's such an adventurer, so he likes to go where it's difficult. So he wanted to go to Mount Kailash. So a team of devotees, so they went, and my God, I was living the entire experience with him. It was maybe in 1 hour video. I was like all churned up, whatever they were going through. So when this lady was telling me what happened, I said, I already lived through the whole thing with Indradyumna Swami. So when he was like half dead, and he's such an adventurous person, and then he must be little elderly also. He must be elderly also. So how he did all this, and then when the whole thing was over, he said, and he was watching other people doing this heavy duty austerity. Now I know when I read in Bhagavatam that that one was doing severe austerity. So now with my own eyes, through Indradyumna Swami's program, I saw what that austerity was. Now I know. Then he came out and said, no need for it. Right. That's what he said. He said he felt very purified. He got huge from doing all this, but he said, no, not required. Not required. So, Maharaji, what is our austerity? Get up, take bath, right? It's our austerity. Just you manage to get yourself out of bed and run for bath, do your japa, do your temple worship, right? Work for some time, stop working at the right time, again taking bath, having your dinner, chanting or reading. This is our austerity, right? Follow the regular principles, don't eat other stuff. Yeah, I remember Indraluna Swami saying no bath. Can you imagine? They went on such a pilgrimage, such a journey. No time for bath. I mean, no time for bath. Where to bathe? So I don't know how many days they were out no bath. So how he felt when finally he says, I took bath. Can you imagine? And could not shave. So he had a growing old beard for so many days. And he was saying, every day somebody dies on that parikram. Every day somebody dies. They don't make it. And so he was saying he didn't die. And he's elderly. That's what I saw in that video. And he also mentioned that while they were all struggling, to go up in that snow and everything, very happily the Tibetan were just passing by. The pilgrims, very happily, easily, they were just passing by. And you know what I saw? I saw what I see in India also. I will see these women with their babies on their back. Well, the Indian, they have their women, they have the babies on their side. Right? Can you imagine? This small baby is doing parikrama and Maharaj is struggling. So the question is being asked, how are they doing? Or what they are doing in goodness, passion, and ignorance. And the previous verse asked, they should know what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. It's very, very important, very important. See now, everybody believes they know what they are talking about, even among devotees, right? They believe they know what they're talking about. So if you are teaching something, then you'll have somebody else who will put in their opinion and defy what you are doing, thinking they know better, right? So therefore, everybody must know what is to be done and what is not to be done. So important. Therefore, every devotee must study these 4 books of Bhagavad Gita, Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, Shishopanishad. These are our basic, super basic books. Elaboration will come in Bhagavatam. And behavior, contemporary application of this philosophy will come in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So very, very dangerous, extremely dangerous are those who create some sort of God by selecting a human being and placing their faith. You know that faith is a very precious commodity, a supremely precious commodity. And you need to know where to put it. It's just like medicine, right? Medicine. Medicine means life or death, isn't it? And when you don't know what type of medicines school of medicine you are going to follow. You have to put your faith. So this is something very precious. You have to put your faith somewhere in some type of medical modalities, I think they call it. Because it's a matter of life and death. Shraddha, yajante shraddhayan vittaha. And the extraordinary thing is that faith is inborn. It's not something that is, that floats in the air and then suddenly deposits itself in you. Faith is your very heart. But that faith can be manipulated by others. Why? Because we have no shelter. We have no shelter of Krishna. Therefore, anybody can manipulate your faith and make you become their das, their slave. Anyone. Is it true? Your boss can do it. Parents can do it. The government can do it. False teachers can do it. Anybody. Because you have no shelter. Space is your very existence, your soul. And so, Krishna is so merciful. So merciful. He's given us directions in the Shastra. And even when the path gets covered, some ways described, like during the rainy season, so weeds will come, grasses will come and cover the actual path, right? But if you have an expert gardener, he can cut through the grass and show the path, isn't it? So Krishna is always merciful, and if you want to know the actual truth, then you will get the right person to show you the path. But in the meantime, when you are neither here nor there, in the middle, wherever you may be, it's very risky. Risky. So, are they goodness, passion, or ignorance? Meaning, who you associate with, right? This is the color of your faith. If you associate with people who are in the mode of goodness, you will have faith in mode of goodness. If you associate with people in the mode of passion, you will have faith in the mode of passion. If you associate with people who are in mode of ignorance, your faith will become in mode of ignorance. You start doing black magic, right? I'm giving one example. You have liquor, you eat meat, you put your faith, it's good for health. It's good for digestion to have wine, right? Faith, you put your faith in it, you think it's good for digestion, right? I'm just giving an overview of this chapter based on only this point of faith and Shastra belief. This is what Krishna is going to describe throughout in this chapter. You're able to follow that? Okay, so let's move ahead. My God, here it is. Yes, so who wants to read now? Ashwini, you're ready? Mala, you want to read?
Yes, Mataji. Text 2. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Trivida Bhavati Shraddha Dehinam Sa Svabhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Cheti Tam Shrina. Shruno. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance. Now hear about this. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Those who know the rules and regulations of the scriptures, but out of laziness or indolence give up following these rules and regulations, are governed by the modes of material nature. According to their previous activities in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, they acquire a nature which is of a specific quality. The association of the living entity with the different modes of nature has been going on perpetually since the living entity is in contact with material nature. He acquires different types of mentality according to his association with the material modes. But this nature can be changed if one associates with a bona fide spiritual master and abides by his rules and the scriptures. Gradually, one can change his position from ignorance to goodness or from passion to goodness. The conclusion is that blind faith in a particular mode of nature cannot help a person become elevated to the perfectional stage. One has to consider things carefully with intelligence in the association of a bona fide spiritual master. Thus, one can change his position to a higher mode of nature.
Okay. All right. So this is what we were speaking. Swabhavaja. All right. So I just explained that because this Jeev has lost the shelter of Krishna, so he becomes vulnerable to what others give him, right? He's shelterless or she's shelterless. So, even if we hear about the rules and regulations of Shastra, here Prabhupada is saying that out of laziness, they don't follow it. They know they should do, but still they don't do. Is that us? We know we should do, still we don't do. So how do we act? We are acting only according to our acquired nature over so many births. Swabhavaja. Dehinam. Dehinam. What is the meaning of Dehinam?
Of the embodied
Body.
Meaning that soul that has become engaged in a body, right? And now Swabhavaja has acquired a certain nature, right? Like when we deal with people, say, anyway, this is his nature. What can you do? This is his nature. How did he become like this or she become like this? All right. So this is an acquired nature. It's not the real nature. It's an acquired nature. So here Prabhupada is saying that if one associates with a bona fide spiritual master and abides by its rules and the scriptures, gradually one can change his position from ignorance to goodness, from passion to goodness. All right, so our acquired knowledge, nature can be changed, and that's why we go to school. It's not to learn how to count, right? We go to school in order to learn. Education means that you break old mindset and you acquire new mindset. That it should not be that you go to school from Sura, you become Asura, right? So many of, good boys, good girls, good family who follow the regulatory principles. Then they go to school. What did? They became drunkards, smokers and drunkards, right?
Nowadays, it's a step higher, Mataji. They become drug addicts.
So, I mean, then it becomes very dangerous when they fall in such bad habits, ignorance. So, gradually one can change his position from ignorance to goodness. It's very drastic that when they fall so low, it's extremely difficult. So the conclusion is that blind faith in a particular mode of nature cannot help a person become elevated to the perfectionist stage. One has to consider things carefully with intelligence in the association of a bona fide spiritual master. Thus, one can change his position to a higher mode of nature. Okay, so this is sufficient for today. Let's do the last one more. So Ashwini, are you ready to read? Are you able to read?
Yes, Mataji. Yeah, I can read.
So, okay, so then this will conclude this section because Krishna is introducing the question of Arjuna about faith, right? Faith. Do you place your faith in scripture or do you place your faith in something else? Right? Very, very important. I mean, the crucial question of our life, where do I put my faith? Yeah.
Thank you,
Let's
Mataji.
see.
Yeah. Text 3, chapter 17. सत्त्वानुरूप सर्वस्य श्रद्धा भवति भारत श्रद्धामयोऽहं पुरुषो यो यदृच्छेयो यच्छ्रद्धः स एव सः. Translation: O son of Bharat, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Everyone has a particular type of faith regardless of what he is, but his faith is considered good, passionate, or ignorant according to the nature he has acquired. Thus, according to his particular type of faith, one associates with certain persons. Now, the real fact is that every living being, as is stated in the 15th chapter, is originally a fragmental part and parcel of the Lord, of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, one is originally transcendental to all the modes of material nature. But when one forgets his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and comes into contact with the material nature in conditional life, he generates his own position by association with the different varieties of material nature. The resultant artificial faith and existence are only material. Although one may be conducted by some impression or some conception of life, originally he is nirguna or transcendental. Therefore, one has to become cleansed of the material contamination that he has acquired in order to regain his relationship with the Supreme Lord and that is the only path back without fear. Krishna consciousness. If one is situated in Krishna consciousness, then that path is guaranteed for his elevation to the perfectional stage. If one does not take to his path of self-realization, then he is surely to be conducted by the influence of the modes of nature. The word Shraddha or faith is very significant in this verse. Shraddha or faith originally comes out of the mode of goodness. One's faith may be in a demigod or some created god or some mental concoction. One's strong faith is supposed to be productive of works of material goodness. But in material conditional life, no works are completely purified. They are mixed. They are not in pure goodness. Pure goodness is transcendental. In purified goodness, one can understand the real nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As long as one's faith is not completely in purified goodness, the faith is subject to contamination by any of the modes of material nature. The contaminated modes of material nature expand to the heart. Therefore, according to the position of the heart in contact with a particular mode of material nature, one's faith is established. It should be understood that if one's heart is in the mode of goodness, his faith is also in mode of goodness. If his heart is in mode of passion, his faith is also in mode of passion. And if his heart is in mode of darkness, illusion, his faith is also thus contaminated. Thus, we find different types of faith in this world, and there are different types of religions due to different type of faith. Oh. The real principle of religious faith is situated in the mode of pure goodness. But because the heart is tainted, we find different types of religious principles. Thus, according to different types of faith, there are different kinds of worship.
Is what we discussed, no?
Yeah.
Right? So what we discussed, and here Prabhupada has given the whole part.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, Mataji.
So the part here Prabhupada is saying that actually, originally, this soul is, his faith is nirguna. All right? Meaning that nirguna, meaning there's no, this three gunas in it. But because he has no relationship with the Supreme Lord, then his faith gets tainted by the three gunas. Therefore, he behaves in a certain way. So how does he behave? This is chapter 17. So just think, like, I mean, that's why it's so difficult to deal with people. So difficult because this soul has acquired a certain type of faith, which may be in goodness, passion, or ignorance. And Prabhupada is saying, even if you're in goodness, right? Even if you're in goodness, but it's not pure goodness. Therefore, what Prabhupada said about this, the word Shraddha of it is very significant in this verse. Shraddha of it originally comes out of the mode of goodness. One's faith may be in a demigod or some created god or some mental concoction. I just gave you the example, of my helper. I don't know who she went to worship, but she did it with great faith. One strong faith is supposed to be productive of works of material goodness. I think she's a good lady, she wants to go out on yatra. right? I thought it is goodness, right? But in material condition life, no works are completely purified. They're mixed. They are not in pure goodness. Pure goodness is transcendental. In purified goodness, one can understand the real nature of the Supreme Personal Godhead. So even though it was good, she wanted to do it, but that goodness was tainted with what? Ignorance here. That goodness tainted by ignorance. Ignorant of what? Ignorance of what? The real nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. To be working in a temple, all right? What more can you ask? Right? So, because there was not sufficient appreciation of who Krishna is and what she will get, So I'm just taking an example, simple people. So, good person. She just said, okay, let me go, there is a wedding here, there is a wedding there, there is an engagement here, there is one, she didn't speak of all that. People must take holiday to go and enjoy themselves, amuse themselves in Rajogun and Tamogun. So, and like in Vrindavan, when you go there, all the maids will tell you, all the workers, whoever it may be, I'm going in Parikrama. Govardhan Parikrama is coming, Vrindavan Parikrama is coming, this Ekadashi is coming, they will all go. Without exception, they will all go. They do so much austerity. You can't be there doing. Right? But they are doing, understanding the real nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are appreciating Krishna. Yeah, as long as one's faith is not completely in purified goodness, the faith is subject to contamination by any of the laws of the Very important. Very important. If your faith is not transcendental, then the three gunas can come and attack you and pull you here and there. So therefore we must read. Faith and knowledge, they go together. How bhakti develops faith and knowledge. They have to combine. No blind faith. Your faith can be blind once your knowledge is proper and perfect. But faith in ignorance, where do you go? So this is very important. Knowledge is required. In purified goodness, one can understand the real nature of the Supreme Person of God. So knowledge. Anyway, this is a complicated subject. It's a very complicated subject. One just like because everything is not clear. It's not clear yet. It's not clear yet. But you're going to find it as we start to go through and read. So you can make a note here. In this material world, everybody is born with some type of faith, which may be in any of the gunas, and most probably acquired by association with the world. And if we by good luck, Kono Bhagyavan Ji, by good luck, we come in touch with a bona fide spiritual master then our faith can become proper. Can become like, yeah, it's in the proper object, the proper method. So therefore, faith requires knowledge. But when the knowledge has become mature and absolute, then that knowledge is not required. Only the faith continues. All right. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Panchakalpa Tarasya Kripa Sindhu. Vishnu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Very good.